Alright, shalom, Hebrews. This is a message from the Israelite Brotherhood. This is a message from the Israelite Brotherhood. And this is what I want to relay to you Hebrews. Y'all see them folks right there? Y'all see them folks right there? All them ultra-Orthodox Jews and them Orthodox Jews, the ones who be holding the Jewish people's heritage together. These folks right here are going to be the book writers, the script writers. They more or less like scribes too. And them folks right there ain't finna come up off their heritage. And them folks say that they the Israelites. And they ain't finna change. See what I'm saying? So if we Hebrews don't have correct history, then you can't confront them folks. And you can't say you a Hebrew because they going to walk all over you. They created a bunch of myths. When we Hebrews broke the covenant and ran into Africa during the Babylonian wars. You see what I'm saying? So, you Hebrews gonna have to get a sense of correct history in order to combat these folks on your heritage. And, it's like we can't never do the covenant that we once had that them people are trying to do. Is the reason why the prophet Jeremiah said we will get a new covenant, not like the one that we got when we come out of Egypt, the one that we broke for Egyptian religion. Okay, Hebrews, if we can't combat these folks with some real history and show these folks how we the Hebrews, then them folks gonna walk all over you, and later on it's gonna become a crime probably to say that you a Hebrew, and then you be using Jewish history. They gonna lock you up and give you 100 years. You see what I'm saying? Because you're gonna be using Jewish history, and Jewish history not gonna show that we the Hebrews, and they gonna lock you up and give you 100 years, say that it's a hate crime, anti-Semitism, and anti-Semitic and all that old stuff. See what I'm saying? So if you Hebrews can't show that we the Hebrews by real history, then you know what I'm saying, you're gonna fall to the wayside too. I'm finna show how all of us can be a representative, how all y'all can be a representative. You know what I'm saying? This is a message from the Israelite Brotherhood. This is a message from the Israelite Brotherhood. I'm gonna show how we all can be a representative of our people with some correct history. You see what I'm saying? And the only way that you gonna prove that you a Hebrew Israelite is basically by the book of Jeremiah and the curses. And the reason that I put the prophet Jeremiah before the curses is because a whole lot of people can say that they fit some of the curses. They're gonna try to point out some of the tragedies that they done had in their life and then connect them to the curses. You see what I'm saying? So, a lot of people done been through hardships because they worship idols and worship false gods, and they gonna have a hard time. Well, they gonna say that they, can relate to the curses too, and that the curses fit them. So to get around all this nonsensical stuff that people be trying to pop, you have to go to the book of Jeremiah. You have to go to the book of Jeremiah, being that he gonna be our last prophet that we seen before we ran into Africa. You see what I'm saying? He was the last prophet to deal with us. You know what I'm saying? Before we run into Africa, he was the last prophet we was dealing with. So his history and the history that he has gonna show that, we the Hebrews, because in the book of Jeremiah, we said that we don't want to do the covenant no more, and that we was going back into Africa by way of Egypt, which is the Sahara, to do the African Egyptian religion. We said that we was tired of doing the covenant, and that the covenant was basically too hard for us. You know what I'm saying? And it's like I got a lot of videos explaining, how we the Hebrews. You know what I'm saying? I have a lot of videos, man, explaining how we Israel and how we broke the covenant. You also got to go through some of them videos and stuff, but I'm gonna try to, lay a little foundation that you Hebrews can build up on. because once you understand this, then it's gonna be basically easy, you know what I'm saying, to explain our heritage to those people that don't believe. You see what I'm saying? You have to go to the book of Jeremiah, because the book of Jeremiah is our last act, and then you go backwards. You can go backwards, you know what I'm saying, or you can go forward, but it's best to start with the book of Jeremiah. And we ran into Africa during the Babylonian Wars. The Creator got us up off the land because we kept saying that we was going to do the Egyptian religion. We kept saying that we was going to do the Egyptian religion. So the Creator sent the Scythians, the people that I'm always talking about, sent the Scythians in to chase us up off the land. And the Scythians ain't nothing but Ashkenazi. The Scythians, the people who settled in the Discopolis cities, ain't nothing but Ashkenazi. Ashkenazi settled in the Discopolis cities under the name Chaldean. Ashkenazi, who was called Scythian, set up in our land in the Discopolis cities. You know what I'm saying? And they would, push our heritage. You know what I'm saying? And them the people that Jesus went to deal with only too. But Ashkenazi, under the name Scythian, settled in our land during the Chaldean Babylonian Wars. You know what I'm saying? They made up the Chaldean army, and they settled in Scythopolis. You know what I'm saying? And that's how Ashkenazi got in our heritage, during the Babylonian Wars. In the Sephardims, or the Sephardic, and Sephardim Jews. Now, them gonna be the oldest Jews, the book writers, the scribes from Babylon that was placed in our land during the Assyrian conflicts that we had, and they was placed in our land in 722 BC. They gonna be the oldest Jews, and they had pigmentation too. You know what I'm saying? They had pigmentation, and them folks were scribes. They had pigmentation too. So a lot of Hebrews get confused by their history. You see what I'm saying? Some of them mix with the Arabs and the East Africans, and they are called Sephardim. You know what I'm saying? The Mahazari Jews from North Africa. You know what I'm saying? Well, those are Babylonian scribes, and they are Amorites. You see what I'm saying? They are Amorites because they come from an Amorite created empire and created civilization, Babylon, and then they moved to our land. They was already Amorites, and it's like the Amorites that we didn't chase out the promised land, that we allowed to stay in the land, that was their relative. So they got rooted in and anchored in real good. You see what I'm saying? And I'm going to show how they was in our heritage and how they knew our heritage. And those will be the Jews today that got our heritage. You see what I'm saying? And if you go to the book of Jeremiah, during the Babylonian Wars, it was two set of Hebrews, the good figs and the bad figs. That's why it's important to read the book of Jeremiah, because you would know what happened to us in our last days. This was our last time on the promised land, was the book of Jeremiah. We got chased into Africa because we said we was going to do the Egyptian religion. The Egyptians had killed King Josiah. We was clean for like 30 years. You know what I'm saying? 30 years from doing a 300-year stint of Egyptian religion. You see what I'm saying? We was on Egyptian religion since 931 BC. And then, King Josiah cleaned it up. And, he was born around about 631 BC. He was a prophecy. He was a prophecy king. You know what I'm saying? And we was looking for him for 300 years till he finally came. And that's going to be where all the Messianic prophecies come from, about a Messianic individual leading us into some freedom. You know what I'm saying? Well, all that's going to come from King Josiah's history and us waiting on him. Those Babylonians, those Babylonian scribes knew that we was waiting on him because they was in our land too. You see what I'm saying? So, but if you look at this right here, Jeremiah chapter 44, verse 2. This said the Elohim of hosts, the Yah of Israel, ye have seen all the evil that I have brought upon Jerusalem and upon all the cities of Judah, and behold, this day they are a desolation, and no man dwelleth therein. I can show you throughout the whole book of Jeremiah that, he kept saying that we was going to get kicked off the land. And when the prophet Jeremiah was giving his message in his oracle, it was during the reign of King Josiah, when he had cleaned the land up. So it was like our only chance to redeem ourselves and not get kicked out the promised land and lose our heritage like we did. The prophet Jeremiah was around in 627 BC, man, I think. And this was like just before the Chaldeans pull up, because the Chaldeans, the Babylonians, had just destroyed Assyria in 612 BC. They destroyed Assyria and they was making a beeline to us. But just before they came, them folks could have been a couple of 100 miles away. Just before they came, the prophet Jeremiah tried to get us to change our ways and to stop doing the wickedness that we was doing. We was basically doing everything that we doing now, robbing each other, killing each other, and doing all this evil wickedness to each other. And like I have shown, that we never followed, we never was cool with each other long as we was on other religions and doing other people culture. Us Hebrews will fight and kill each other, and the only time that we're united and we won't harm each other is when we following the creator of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and Moses. That's the only time that we have unity. And if we ever want to have some unity, we have to come back to worshiping the creator that the prophets worshiped. Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Moses, and so forth. But the prophet Jeremiah is going to be the prophet that chased us into Africa, trying to get us to come back. We even played with the creator going into Africa too, man. We did a whole lot of stuff. We was robbing each other, we was killing each other, we was stealing. We had the Egyptian religion on us. Like I say in the other videos, that the Egyptians had to do trade, man, across the promised land. You see what I'm saying? They had to do trade across the promised land. And they didn't want us to do the covenant, because if we did the covenant, it was kind of like the death of Egypt. We almost killed the whole Egyptian empire and civilization by doing the covenant that Moses gave us, which was a new culture that wasn't like the Babylonian Egyptian culture that dominated the known world then. You see what I'm saying? So, us getting that new law from Moses was a new culture, and it was to put the Babylonian and the Egyptian lights out, because like I said, the Egyptians couldn't come across the promised land to do trade with Mesopotamia as long as we had the covenant. So that's one of the reasons why the Egyptian put their religion and use all kind of schisms and schemes to get us up off the covenant, and basically kept us on their religion. If they keep us on their religion, then we was kind of like neutralized. You see what I'm saying? And they didn't have to come out and just fight us all the time to get by, to get to the Mesopotamia area and back. You see what I'm saying? Because it was zero trespassing long as we did the covenant. Could no idol worshiping nation come across the promised land. And that was like the freeway into Africa. You see what I'm saying? And we was killing the Egyptian society and culture. We basically the reason why Egypt don't exist now, because Egypt trespassed the promised land. The people that control Egypt now come from a Edomite, Ishmaelite heritage. You see what I'm saying? And those are the people that control Egypt now. But the original Egyptians, the people from the Sahara, they got wiped out, fooling with us and trying to stop us from doing our covenant. But it's like they destroyed us too at the same time. That's why I be tripping on you Hebrews, be talking about that black pride crap. That black pride crap. That black pride crap ain't did us no good, because it was the black peoples, the other tribes, that basically caused us to go into bondage. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, when we be saying black folks and we the Africans and we the black folks and we all together. Man, them Africans ain't thinking about us. Them Africans just did a $60 billion trade deal with the devil, knowing that we still in bondage, and they ain't thought not one time to help us and try to bring us up out of the captivity that we still in, knowing that they can see the news and still see how we being dogged out all the time, with the majority of us still in poverty. Yeah, some of us done escape poverty and living good. You see what I'm saying? And that's good for you. We can't knock that. You know what I'm saying? And I can't knock it. But it's finna come a time that we finna all be on the same level. You see what I'm saying? We finna be on the same level, because the Creator finna bring this system to an end so we can have some freedom, some sovereignty over ourselves. You see what I'm saying? Okay, like I say, there's black people all around the world, and that don't make them us. We are Shem's descendants, you know what I'm saying? And specifically the Israelites, the descendants of Jacob. You see what I'm saying? And we are different tribal, ethnic group than the other people, even though they done mixed us a little bit since the slavery days. But our total identity in Israelite identity has not been washed out of us. You know what I'm saying? And that we still the same people as we was in the biblical days, because our ancestors did mix with some of those folks in the land that we wasn't supposed to mix with. That's recorded in the Tanakh. But as I was saying, the book of Jeremiah is the book that you have to use to show that we the Hebrews, because the Hebrew nation, the 99%, went into Africa during the Babylonian wars, and they never returned after the Babylonians was defeated by the Persians, and the Hebrews that was taken to Babylon was allowed to come home. It was an order to leave Babylon. You see what I'm saying? So ain't no Hebrews stayed in Babylon after they done seen the Babylonians did just what the prophet Jeremiah said. You see what I'm saying? So, it was an order to leave Babylon, and it's right here. Flee out the midst of Babylon and deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off in her iniquity, for this is the time of the Elohim vengeance. He will render unto her a recompense. You know what I'm saying? And that happened because the Persians come in and put them folks' lights out. You see what I'm saying? And then that allowed the Hebrews to come back from Babylon, and you have the book of Ezra, Nehemiah, Haggai, Zechariah, and Malachi. Those 5 books, those 5 prophets covered the exiles from Babylon. They covered the exiles from Babylon, and they show within their history that the Queen of Heaven worshipers, the people who caused the whole empire to collapse in our last days, us, the ones that went into captivity during the transatlantic slave trade, that we caused the whole kingdom to collapse by saying that we only wanted to do Egyptian religion. And this is in the book of Jeremiah. You go to chapter 44, verse 15, 16, 17, and 18. And this was a state of mind. This was a state of mind. And all the history leads up to this. That's like I, can show that we was only on the promised land totally from our exodus with Moses to us abandoning our heritage to those Jews, that we was only in the land for 818 years. That's messed up. That's how long we held heritage. And that's how long the Sephardi Jews, the Sephardians, held our heritage from 722 BC to now. It is 2,740 years. And we Hebrews, from exiting Egypt with Prophet Moses, 1406 BC to us abandoning our heritage to the Jews is 818 years, because we ran into Africa around 588 BC, and that's the book of Jeremiah. See, everything go back to the book of Jeremiah, but this is what we said. This was a state of mind. And we said that we didn't want to do the law that Moses gave us, thus breaking covenant. We said it was too hard because we kept seeing all these folks pulling up. You see what I'm saying? And we never could make the connections that it was because we wasn't doing the covenant that Moses gave us is the reason why all that stuff was happening to us. You see what I'm saying? And we had prophet after prophet explaining what would happen to us just before it did. That's like the book of Habakkuk. That prophet told us that Ashkenazi, the Scythians, the people on the horses, was coming to get us. You see what I'm saying? Was coming to get us. And like I showed you in those other videos, how those people from the Caucasus Mountain, Ashkenazi, how they came in on them horses. And then them horses with them body parts on there. You see what I'm saying? Them horses with them body parts, with them skeletons and with them skeletons and body parts, you know what I'm saying, on the horses, that will make us come up off the promised land. And that's what the Creator sent, you know what I'm saying, to get us up off the land. You see what I'm saying? He sent them Scythians, you know what I'm saying, Ashkenazi. You know what I'm saying? He sent Ashkenazi, the Chaldeans, to get us up off the promised land. You know what I'm saying? That's like I got videos showing how them people on horseback came. You know what I'm saying? Them folks from the north. And Jeremiah, if you read the book of Jeremiah, that's all he talk about is the horse and bowmen. That was them folks, them people that rode around with the body parts on their horses. Ashkenazi, they would kill you, and then they'll also kill you and take your skull and make a bone out of it and smoke weed out of it. They'll cut your head off and clean the flesh off, and then put gold in the eyes and stuff, and then they'll smoke weed out your head. Well, them folks, they was also Jesus members. These people settled in the Discopolis. I got a video about this and how Jesus spent his whole time with them, and that's all he ministered to was Ashkenazi, the people that had settled in our land after the Babylonian wars. You see what I'm saying? Well, these folks came and got us up off the land, and when they talk about the horse and bowmen in the book of Jeremiah and the other prophets spoke about, before then, they was talking about these folks, the Scythians, Ashkenazi, you know what I'm saying? And they came into our land and they chased us up off the land. We were scared of them folks. Them folks coming to our land with them horses, riding on them horses with them body parts, riding around with them body parts and stuff all on their horses, and we seen how bloody and crazy they was. We got up off the land and we said that it was easy to live in Egypt and do their religion than to be doing the covenant that Moses gave us. And I'm going to show that too. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to show this, and here it is right here. And then I'm going to show how the folks chased us into Africa. Like I said, the Chaldean army was made up of Ashkenazi, the Scythians. You see what I'm saying? And they destroyed Assyria, and they made a beeline to our nation to get us up off the land. The Creator called them, and he told them to come get us. That's why they been so brutal to us, because they know that they had got the green light to get us. You see what I'm saying? And we had no power. It's like that old Superman fiction stuff, non-fiction stuff with the Superman with the kryptonite, and the kryptonite come around and he can't do nothing and lose all his power. Well, that's what happened to us when we got on that Egyptian religion. We lost all our powers and we couldn't fight against these people, and it was over with. And this is what we said to save face. It's like we was, really being smart at it when we said this to the prophet Jeremiah, because also we had sent him to go to the Creator to ask the Creator what we should do. You see what I'm saying? And we lied to the Creator. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to read that before I get to the part of us saying that we only wanted Egyptian religion. You see, this is how we prove we the Hebrews, because those Hebrews that went into Africa to worship the Egyptian religion never came home. Never came home. You see what I'm saying? And we represent them. You see, history been quiet about what happened to the Hebrews that went into Africa. You see, it was prophecies for them to get took into other nations, and that the curses would be on them. As I could show under King Josiah, our last chance to get right, that he had sent one of the priests to the prophetess Huldah, and she told us it was over with. It was curtains for us. All right. And then the Egyptians killed King Josiah, and we went to the Egyptian religion, and here we is in captivity. All right. Then all the captains of the forces, and Johan the son of Ker, and Jezaniah the son of Hoshea, and all the people from the least even unto the greatest came near. And that's all the tribes. Like I could show in all the other videos that it was never any 10 lost tribes, and that all the tribes was there. I'm gonna see if I can squeeze that in too. And that all the tribes was there during the Babylonian wars, because we was all there after the Assyrian wars, as can be seen under Hezekiah, King Hezekiah, and his great grandson King Josiah. You see what I'm saying? They saved you from those Jewish myths, you know, because after we broke the covenant, then them people start creating false history. You see what I'm saying? Because we had already abandoned the covenant, and then them creating false history. Man, it's like we was locked out. See what I'm saying? And now we're trying to get back in. We're going to get back in. We in already. All we got to do is show them some real history when people confront us. And this is the only history that you can show is Tanakh history, because the Tanakh history is all the history that we're responsible for. All right. Let me see. Then all the captains of the forces, and Johan the son of Ker, and Jezaniah the son of Hoshea, and all the people from the least even unto the greatest came near, and said unto Jeremiah the prophet, Least we beseech thee, our supplication be accepted before thee, and pray for us unto the Elohim thy Yah, even for all this remain, for we are left but few of many, as thine eyes do behold. Then the Elohim thy Yah may show us the way wherein we may walk, in all the things that we may do. You see, that was crazy, and that was almost blasphemous right there, because here it is, we know we should have been following the covenant on the promised land, but here it is, we done got chased out the land, and we saying what we should do when we knowing what we should have been doing. But like I said, we was blinded by the Egyptian worship for 300 years before King Josiah cleaned it up, and we was only off of it for 30 years. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, what 30 years compared to 300 years of doing Egyptian worship? We went back to bad habits. We went back to bad habits, and it's showing that we went into Africa and we was playing with the Creator. That's why come our punishment been severe and so long. You see what I'm saying? All right. Then the Elohim thy Yah may show us the way wherein we may walk, in the things that we may do. Then Jeremiah the prophet said unto them, I have heard you. Behold, I will pray unto the Elohim your Yah according to your words, and it shall come to pass that whatsoever thing the Elohim shall answer you, I will declare it unto you. I will keep nothing back from you. Then they said to Jeremiah the prophet, the Elohim be a true and faithful witness between us, if we do not even according to all the things which the Elohim that Yah shall send thee to us. That's messed up. Man, hey, you can almost bust it, pass out and fall out when you read that, because it's like we was playing with the Creator. We was basically throwing the middle finger up. You know what I'm saying? In so many words, because when we said that if you go to the Creator and no matter what he say, we gonna do it, knowing in our heart that we wasn't gonna do it, oh man, that ain't nothing but the curses waiting on us. It was no way to get from being enslaved. It was impossible to not be enslaved, knowing that we had broken the covenant and said all this wicked stuff. All right. We said whether it be good or whether it be evil, we will obey the voice of the Elohim our Yah, to whom we send thee, that it may be well with us. when we obeyed the voice of the Elohim our Yah. That was real evil. And it come to pass after 10 days that the word of the Elohim came unto Jeremiah. Then called Johanan the son of Ker, and all the captains of the forces which were with him, and all the people from the least even unto the greatest, and said unto them, This saith the Elohim Yah of Israel, unto whom ye sent me to present your supplications before him. Now that's what Jeremiah is saying. You know what I'm saying? We will, if ye will abide in this land, then I will build you and not pull you down, and I will plant you and not pluck you up. For I have repented of me the evil that I have done unto you, because he sent them Scythians, them folks on them horses with them body parts riding around. You see what I'm saying? And they could shoot a bird's eye out. And they was high, and they came and got us. Came and chased us up off the land. Them folks on them horses. Right there, the Scythians with the body parts riding around. You know what I'm saying? They come got us up off the land. Alright. And this is what we said after being chased up off the land. You know what I'm saying? And this is what Prophet Jeremiah said. Be not afraid of the king of Babylon, of whom ye are afraid. Be not afraid of him, said the Elohim, for I am with you to save you and to deliver you from his hand, and I will show mercy unto you, that he may show mercy unto you, and cause you to return to your own land. But if ye say, we will not dwell in this land, neither obey the voice of the Elohim our Yah, saying, No, but we will go into the land of Egypt, where we shall see no war, nor hear the sound of the trumpet, nor have hunger of bread, and there shall we dwell. You see what I'm saying? And we said that we was going to worship the Egyptian religion. You see what I'm saying? So it was over with. Right? And now therefore bear the word of the Elohim. And now therefore hear the word of the Elohim, ye remain of Judah. This is the Elohim of hosts, the Yah of Israel. If ye wholly set your face to enter into Egypt, and to go and sojourn there, then it shall come to pass that the sword which ye feared shall overtake you there in the land of Egypt. And the famine whereof ye were afraid shall follow close after you where there in Egypt, and there ye shall die. You see what I'm saying? And sure enough, this is the Egypt too, because Moses said that we will be taken to Egypt in ships. And sure enough, if we ain't going through all those curses, but it's a known fact that the Babylonians, who had took the promised land over, also took Egypt over. So we had to get on away from Egypt. We didn't stay in Egypt nothing but a little short time, and that Egypt is part of the Sahara. See what I'm saying? So, all right, let me finish reading this. All right. So there it shall, let me see. So shall it be with all the men that set their face to go into Egypt to sojourn there. There you shall die by the sword and by famine and by pestilence, and none of them shall remain or escape the evil that I will bring upon them. This said the Lord of hosts and Yah of Israel, as my anger and my fury hath been poured forth upon the inhabitants of Jerusalem, so shall my fury be poured forth upon you when ye shall enter in Egypt, and ye shall be an excretion, an astonishment, and a curse, and a reproach, and you shall see this place no more. This said the Elohim has said concerning you, all you remain of Judah, go ye not into Egypt, no certain that I have admonished you this day. See what I'm saying? And we went on. You see what I'm saying? And we went on into Egypt. And you can see the whole land was empty, like I showed on verse 2. And then I can show you here how he said that we would be taken. If you go to chapter 44, verse 8. Alright. 44, verse 8. Alright. Let me see. Alright. You know what I'm saying? The land was empty. We was already in Africa. Therefore now, let me see. Therefore now this said the Elohim of hosts, the Yah of Israel, wherefore commit ye this great evil against your souls, to cut off from you man, woman, and child, and suckling out of Judah, to leave you none to remain, and that ye provoke me unto wrath with the works of your hands, burning incense unto other gods in the land of Egypt, where ye be gone to dwell, that ye might cut yourselves off, and that ye might be a curse and a reproach among all the nations of the earth. See what I'm saying? So, we got taken to slavery. You know what I'm saying? We got took into slavery, and this is what we said. You know what I'm saying? Then all the men which knew that their wives had burned incense, this is chapter 44, verse 15, 16, 17, and 18, which was a state of mind. Then all the men which knew that their wives had burned incense unto other gods, and all the women that stood by a great multitude, even all the people that dwell in the land of Egypt and Pathros, answered Jeremiah, saying, as for the word that thou hast spoken unto us in the name of the Elohim, we would not hearken unto thee, but we will certainly do whatsoever thing go forth out of our own mouth, to burn incense unto the Queen of Heaven, and to pour out drink offerings unto her, as we have done, we and our fathers, our kings, our princes, in the cities of Judah and in the streets of Jerusalem. For then had we plenty of food, and were well, and saw no evil. But since we left off to burn incense unto the Queen of Heaven, and to pour out drink offerings unto her, we have wanted all things, and have been consumed by the sword and by famine. You see what I'm saying? So, it was basically over with. That was over with. You know what I'm saying? It was over with after that. And we had went into Africa to do the Egyptian religion. We basically abandoned our heritage to the people that was placed in our land in 722 BC. The Sephardi Jews. If you go to Second Kings. All right, man. If you go to 2 Kings chapter 24, verse 16. All right. This gonna show when the Sephardis came into our land, and this, this the only name that didn't get translated in the Bible. You know what I'm saying? They done translated everything but the word Sephardim. And the Sephardim is the Hebrew word. Sephardi is the Hebrew word. Sephardim is the Hebrew word for Sephardi groups. Sephardim, and Sephardi. And they was placed in our land in 722 BC under the king of Assyria. You know what I'm saying? That's like when the Babylonians came to chase us out of Africa. They was their relatives. They was of the same ethnic group, the same tribe, and everything. The only difference is that they had Ashkenazi as the military branch, but the people who made up the Chaldeans and the Babylonians, they was Amorites. And these Sephardi Jews are Amorites because they come from Babylon. And Babylon was an Amorite created nation. And it's like they was slick getting their land back while we was on that Egyptian religion and getting chased out, that they was getting their land back. All right, and the king of Assyria brought men from Babylon and from Cuddar and from Abel and from Hamath and from Sepharvaim, and placed them in the cities of Samaria instead of the children of Israel. And they possessed Samaria and dwelt in the cities thereof. All right, and as you're reading down, you're going to see that these folks did our heritage. So they feared the Elohim. And made unto themselves of the lowest of them priests and of the high places, which sacrificed for them in the houses of the high places. You see what I'm saying? So those folks was doing our heritage. You see what I'm saying? And then as you get to Second Chronicles chapter 30, which showed that it wasn't no 10 lost tribes, because this is going to be under King Hezekiah. This is in 715 BC. This is 7 years after those folks was placed in our land that they came to the Passover dinner. And as you read 2 Chronicles 30, and then you get down to 25, and it says, and all the congregations of Judah with the priests and the Levites, and all the congregation that come out of Israel, and the strangers that come out of the land of Israel that dwelt in Judah, rejoice. King Hezekiah had sent for everybody to come to Jerusalem to do the Passover. This is in 715 BC. This is 7 years after the so-called Assyrian supposed to have took everybody away. And as you read down, you see what I'm saying? You're going to see that he said this. And Hezekiah sent to all Israel in Judah and wrote letters unto Ephraim and Manasseh that they should come to the house of the Elohim at Jerusalem to keep the Passover unto the Elohim Yah of Israel. And the king had taken counsel and his princes and all the congregation in Jerusalem to keep the Passover in the 2nd month, for they could not keep it at that time, because the priests had not sanctified themselves sufficiently, neither had the people gathered themselves together to Jerusalem. And the thing pleased the king and all the congregation, so they established a decree to make proclamation throughout all Israel, from Beersheba even to Dan, that's the whole inheritance, that they should come to keep the Passover unto the Elohim Yah of Israel at Jerusalem, for they had not done of it a long time, and such short as it was written. So the post went with the letters from the king and his princes throughout all Israel and Judah, according to the commandment of the king, saying, Ye children of Israel, turn again unto the Elohim Yah of Abraham, Isaac, and Israel, and he will return to the remain of you that are escaped out of the hands of the king of Assyria. And then as you read on down, and then you get to 10, so the post passed from city to city through the country of Ephraim, Manasseh, even to Zebulun, but they laughed them to scorn and mocked them. Now this is after the Syrian captivity. These folks and mocking folks. So the Syrian captivity couldn't have been too important to them for them to have the attitude that they had. You see what I'm saying? All right. Nevertheless, the virus of Asher, Manasseh, and Zebulun humbled themselves and came to Jerusalem. You see what I'm saying? And then as you read on, and then you get over here to 18, for a multitude of the people, even many of Ephraim, Manasseh, and Ishkar, and Zebulun, had not cleansed themselves, yet they did eat the Passover, otherwise that it was written. But Hezekiah prayed for them, saying, the good Elohim pardon everyone. You see what I'm saying? So all the tribes were still there. And then when you get over to King Hezekiah's great grandson, and this is in 640 BC. Second Chronicles chapter 34 is in 640 BC. So this is like way after the Assyrian was gone off the map, and the Babylonians would be killing the Assyrians now. Those Ashkenazi folks on them horses with them body parts, they would be killing Assyria during this time, putting their lights out. You know, Assyria got knocked off the whole face of the earth by them folks. They massacred them folks and butchered them. It's in history how they ethnically cleansed the whole Assyrian Empire. They knocked them loose. It wasn't hardly none of them left. Probably 2 or 3 if they escaped off into Africa. You see what I'm saying? Because them folks had come up out that Caucasus Mountain, and them folks wasn't playing, because the Creator sent for the worst of the worst to get us. You see what I'm saying? Sent for the worst of the worst to get us, and they destroyed Assyria first, and then made a beeline straight to us. You see what I'm saying? Made a beeline straight to us, and it would be them folks on them horses with them riding around with them body parts. All them folks they done killed. They got them on their horses and they riding with them. You see what I'm saying? They riding with them, and they came for us. See what I'm saying? All right. This is King Josiah. This is King Hezekiah's great grandson. So all the tribes is here. Assyria was gone, basically finna be wiped out. 612 BC, it was over with for Assyria. You see what I'm saying? And that's why come ahead came and kidnapped them 3 tribes, them 3 fighting tribes, because Assyria had let them Scythians kick it in their nation, and them folks got deep on them, and then they just started to take Assyria over, and then Assyria tried to push them folks up out of there. It was too late. You know what I'm saying? Them folks knocked Assyria off. All right. As you read King Josiah, you know what I'm saying, and then as you get down to verse 6, so did he in the cities of Manasseh, Ephraim, Simon, even up to Naphtali with their mattocks round about. So as you read this, you'll see that King Josiah cleaned up the whole Israel, like that prophecy for him to do so that come about after Solomon's death, and Jeroboam come out of Egypt with those 2 golden calves that put it on the northern kingdom that was on it until King Josiah cleaned it up. You see what I'm saying? And let's go to now, you know what I'm saying, we know King Josiah cleaned the whole Israel up, and the prophet Jeremiah would come around about this time too. See what I'm saying? He came in the 12th year of King Josiah's rule. You see what I'm saying? So we would, be on that Egyptian religion for a long time, but it wasn't no 10 lost tribes, and these are the tribes that the Assyrians took. If you go to First Chronicles, First Chronicles, chapter 5, and you see it says the sons of Reuben, chapter 5:18. The sons of Reuben and the Gadites and the half tribe of Manasseh, violent men, them some warriors, men able to bear a buckler, sword, and to shoot with bow, and skillful in war, were 440,703 that went out to war. Okay, the king of Assyria went and kidnapped them. They was on the east side of the Jordan. See what I'm saying? It was easy to kidnap them. And then we was on the Egyptian religion. From when Solomon, wicked King Solomon, chased Jeroboam into Egypt, into his relatives, and then he come out after Solomon's death with the golden cows to put us on us. The golden cows represent about 5-6 religions. All right, this is First Chronicles 5:26. It's showing that the Syrians only needed these folks, these tribes. In the Yah of Israel stirred up the spirit of Paul, king of Assyria, and the spirit of Talcaplasner, king of Assyria, and he carried them away, even the Reubenites and the Gadites and the half tribe of Manasseh, and brought them unto Hela and Harbor and Har to the river Gazan. Unto this day he took them to fight against them folks. You see what I'm saying? But it didn't do them no good. You see what I'm saying? And that's why Prophet Isaiah had said that it would be a highway out of Egypt to Assyria, because them folks was going to come and get the Assyrians too. You see what I'm saying? And this is how you know that it wasn't no 10 lost tribes, because the people that was taken to Assyria, the Syrians took some Ethiopians, some Egyptians, and some Africans, you know what I'm saying, to Assyria during the time that they, allegedly supposed to had took the 10 lost tribes. All right. In that day, Israel shall be the third with Egypt and with Assyria, even a blessing in the midst of the land, and whom the Elohim of hosts shall bless, saying, blessed be Egypt, my people, and Assyria, the work of my hands, and Israel, my inheritance. That was in the last days when we was trying to get up out of Assyria, trying to make it back home. You see what I'm saying? And the book of Jeremiah show you that we came home from everywhere. You see what I'm saying? That we came home from all the nations, and that was after them folks had destroyed Assyria, and then we come home, and then we all went into Africa. But like I say, it never was any 10 lost tribes from the beginning, but the people that the Assyrians did take, they made it home. Okay, we will be on Egyptian religion to King Josiah cleaned it up, and we got on the Egyptian religion, when Solomon killed, when Solomon died and chased Jeroboam into Egypt, and then he come out with the 2 golden calves and put that on us. You know what I'm saying? Solomon was a wicked king. You know what I'm saying? And Solomon caused our whole kingdom to fall. Our whole kingdom to fall by having that Egyptian woman, and having all those other women from those other nationalities and tribes, having them in the land, building temples. We never recovered basically from what Solomon did. You see what I'm saying? Because the little time that King Josiah was around and cleaned up the nation, man, it wasn't long, 30 years. And then we went back to the Egyptian religion. And then we was chased up off the land by Ashkenazi, them folks right there. If you go to 2 Kings chapter 25, right, turn right to it. And all the people, both small and great, and the captains of the armies arose and came to Egypt, for they was afraid of the Chaldeans. The Chaldeans was none but Ashkenazi, them folks. And they chased us into the they chased us out the promised land into Egypt. And we never returned. We never returned when the Babylonian Wars was over, when the Persians beat the Babylonians. You see what I'm saying? And that's how them other folks got our heritage. And then we was enslaved. And then brung to America. And then being done what they did to us, the strippers of our identity. It's a miracle from the Creator that we waking up. But listen, if you gonna challenge these folks with your history, you know, I'm trying to make all of us representatives. All of us representatives. You have to show correct history, and we have to show that we went into Africa during the Babylonian Wars. We went into Africa during the Babylonian Wars, and we never returned when the Babylonian Wars was ended by the Persians, when the Persians defeated the Babylonians, how we never came back home, and how the book of Ezra, Nehemiah, Haggai, Zechariah, and Malachi validate that. Malachi gonna be the last book. You know, I got a lot of videos, Hebrews, going into a lot of history, and you have to look at them videos. You have to look at them videos and start learning your heritage so we can combat these folks. And that's like I, said on one of these social media posts, how we got a lot of false leaders, that be teaching Jewish history and that don't know the history. We're going to put them in a place when this country collapse and we get by ourselves and we even able to govern ourselves and we have sovereignty over ourselves. Then we're going to stop these individuals in these camps and these other places from teaching Jewish history and false history. You see what I'm saying? Because we can't never come back into our heritage, teaching no Jewish history. And that's what make them people say that we ain't the Hebrews and laugh at us because you be using Jewish history. And that's why Prophet Jeremiah said this right here. And this is real important to understand this. Shalom, I turn right to it. Right. Behold, the days come, saith the Elohim, that I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah, not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day that I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt, which my covenant they break. And I just showed you how we broke it by saying that we wanted the Egyptian religion. So that old covenant is broke. You see what I'm saying? And that's the covenant that our enemies do. That's the covenant that the people we abandon our heritage to, that don't want to recognize us as being the Hebrews. That's the covenant we abandoned to them. That's why the Creator said we're going to get a new covenant. You see what I'm saying? All right, now according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day that I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt, which my covenant they break, although I was a husband unto them, saith the Elohim. But this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, saith the Elohim. I will put my law in their inward parts and will write it in their hearts and will be their Yah. And they shall be my people, and they shall teach no more every man his neighbor and every man his brother, saying, know the Elohim, for they shall all know me, from the least of them unto the greatest of them. For said the Elohim, for I will forgive their iniquity and I will remember their sin no more. You see what I'm saying? And then that's taking place now. You see what I'm saying? So we Hebrews, we can't prove that we the Hebrews by trying to do a covenant we broke. We can show that we are the Hebrews by showing that we broke that covenant and that we in the position that the Creator say the Hebrews will be in. You see what I'm saying? And that's everybody got to teach everybody that we the Hebrews. See, them Jews already think they the Hebrews. We got to convince everybody else that we the Hebrews. But like I say, the only way to do it is to show from the book of Jeremiah that we ran into Africa to worship the Egyptian religion. You see, they would have to show that the Hebrews had a change of mind. And if the Hebrews had a change of mind, then the prophets would have wrote about it. You see what I'm saying? Ezra, Nehemiah, Haggai, Zechariah, Malachi. You see what I'm saying? And they didn't write about the Queen of Heaven worshipers coming out of Egypt or coming out of Africa to be reunited with them when the Babylonian captivity ended. You see what I'm saying? We represent them. We was told that we would, get took into a strange land and have to, do the curses. And that's basically what our life been about. Like I said, before, our heritage fell into some Babylonian scribes' hand. The Babylonian scribes, these people, the Sephardi's are Babylonian scribes, and they responsible for Babylon's history. So they got a lot of savvy with writing history and creating false history, because they're responsible for Babylon's God's history and setting up Babylon's administrations and governments for thousands of years before we was even Hebrews. You see what I'm saying? So this is what we combat, and we have to combat them forces and acknowledge that false history and myths that they created. They basically control the whole Western world, the whole earth, off false history. So that's what we have to go up against. You see what I'm saying? And that make us show enough Superman, super Hebrews. You see what I'm saying? Because we got to combat a whole world full of lies just to show that we the Israelites. But the Creator left us with the plan to do it, and that's our history, the Tanakh history, because the Hebrew Israelite nation ran into Africa to do the Egyptian religion and never returned. We are them. Shalom. This is a message from the Israelite Brotherhood. This is the only way to defeat them people who trying to hold on to our heritage and don't want us to be Hebrew Israelites, is to show them correct history. You're not going to show false history and think them folks gonna accept you as being Hebrew Israelites. That's why come they been having the fun off us, because the average Hebrew be using Jewish history to explain Hebrew Israelite history. Shalom, Hebrews. This is a message from the Israelite Brotherhood. Israel been Israel.